Okay, awesome. We are here with Janet, and Janet has a few questions today on healing. And we met in a healing meditation group that I started on next door. And so this is a very exciting morning for me because I'm really just getting to meet Janet and get to know her. And we're going to see what Source wants to co-create with us today. I did pull a card for her. We'll just start off with that and see if our conversation goes in that direction. And it's share your voice. So Janet, I'll be curious to know if you have healing modalities or the abilities. We are all healers. We are all intuitive, just not everyone's been trained in that. And it says, come out of the cave, persecution and expression. So what are you here to say? How are you here to help the collective? All right. So what's in your heart today? What, you can share any of the physical ailments you might have, or where your heart is, or just things that you're wanting to have a second opinion on. I use science and spirituality. Being raised in a very strict religion, I need proof of some things, or I just can't like sit on on a couch, levitate. Like I need some meat behind it as well. And so that's how my brain works, is just like, okay, the spiritual I really do believe in, and it's there, but there's also with science gives us some of the weight of like, okay, my brain can wrap around of why that's true in my experience or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, like you, we were raised in the same religion. So when I left, it took me like a long time I spent several years trying to figure out like who I am. And a woman helped me. At the time she was doing body talk. But
Nice.
Then she moved into like much more. And honestly, without her, I don't think I would have come through things the way that I did. So I always wanted to then be able to help others to kind of get through the same things. And it wasn't until just a couple of years ago that the opportunity came up that I took Reiki. I did my level 1 and level 2. And then COVID hit. And so I wasn't really able to use it the way that I would have liked to have. And then I've just kind of, I don't know, feeling a little stuck. Right now I have recovering from a concussion. So I've kind of felt like, I don't know if it would work with the concussion. So that's kind of what I want to move on from and heal from.
Right. That's cool. What religion were you in?
I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so good. We definitely have lots in common on that piece of it. Are you local to me? Like, are you in a Kitchener-Waterloo area?
Yes.
Oh, I have been wanting to meet people like that are in our areas. This is so great. I manifested you. This is super cool. And I've been looking for people who have Reiki because you've learned the basics, you understand it, you know, are of probably a spiritual kind of person, and or we're just speaking the same language. And I can teach people. I want to teach people who have Reiki that you could actually take it online. You have the basis and the understanding of how healing works. You actually can do this online for people through a meditation or through something, whatever you want to call it. Doesn't matter. We're all connecting into source spirit. I learned quantum healing, which is more advanced than Reiki from what I'm told. And it's just simply like, and I learned in the lockdown. So I didn't have anyone I could practice on anyways that was physically with me. So I had to learn how to do long distance. And so once you have that basis, my gosh, woman, like you can create a business, people who have concussions, and you can help them. And I have a metaphysical anatomy book that I absolutely love. And this year, I'm going to pull up the page for concussion because there's something in it as well for healing in you. Like everything that we attract or we're a vibrational match to is for a reason. There's something in it. So I'll give you an example. I have, you know, I don't know my bio dad. And so I lived my whole life with this fear of rejection and fear of abandonment. And so when someone had told me that I created my divorce, or I attracted my divorce because my ex-husband left me. I was like, you're crazy. Like, he left, right? Putting it all on him. And once I started to look at it and to look at my own patterning, I was like, dang, I definitely had energy in that. And I could see why we were a vibrational match from his insecurities and mine, and how that was actually probably, if we had to go and see someone who understands patterning and childhood programming, they would have been like, oh, you'll be divorced. Unless you fix this, unless you change the energy on it. And so the concussion, I'm going to read it. And this book here really just goes into the emotional stuff of like what we're holding on to, what's inside of us. And I'm going to read it. You can, if anything resonates for you, but it could also be, maybe this is going to be a piece of who you're here to help and what your marketing is going to be like if people are suffering from those kinds of emotions as well. And as I look at it, it says has to do with bone problems. And my mom, thank goodness, she loves this work too. And she was disfellowshipped when she was 15. So she's got an incredible, like, crazy story. It's a movie for sure. We were listening to something last night, Greg Braden, and he was saying that emotions are stored in the tissues. So anyone who has any tissue kind of ailments, those are emotions. And then in the bones is our memories. So that's what's stored there, which is really interesting. Okay, so emotions. You should make more time to absorb and enjoy life. You may have become stuck indulging in the superficial side of life. You have moved away from your spirituality, and your life has pushed you in a direction that does not resonate with your needs. You need to shift focus elsewhere instead of concentrating on influential people's agendas and goals. You have come full circle with self-depriving patterns, and it's time for you to feel and express your emotions. Your strong facade has now been temporarily taken away so that you can feel and express your emotions. With concussion, and I've had friends who've had this as well. It's like you're in this go, 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 and almost like too busy to actually take the time to stop and feel your emotions. And so the concussion, you have no choice. Like you're dizzy, you're in bed, like you physically can't even move, right? So you have to take that time for yourself. You have an active head mind and can be very analytical, especially with religion. Like if any kind of religion where you had to do, like for us as ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, 5 days a week, we had to be there learning and serving and all that stuff. And so it wasn't until this year, and I'm in my 40s, where I started to not feel guilty. Like I purposely had to say, okay, I'm going to sit and watch a movie, or I'm going to do something for fun for myself, because I didn't feel I was worthy of that, I guess, before.
Yeah.
And so now I'm like, thank goodness I get to spend the rest of my life actually enjoying my life outside of my business. It's not all my business, right? Because you think you have to do. You have sorry, I already read that. So it's time for you to explore matters of the heart and make more decisions from the heart. So this is another good piece, is when we're in our head and you feel it from your neck up, is usually when we're in our worry or fear, or you're pushing forward in your business or whatever. Come back down into your heart, because this is where you're going to create from. If a concussion is a result of an accident, let's see the accident section.
It was.
It was?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I'm going to look that up because I've had 3 car accidents, so there's probably a lesson in there for me too. And speeding tickets. And that is like, you don't feel you need to obey, like you're above the law kind of thing. There's a piece in that too. All right. You're always trying to, this is still the concussion. You are always trying to resist controlling or domineering authority figures. Oh, this part of speeding as well. Explore patterns where you feel controlled in life. Jehovah's Witness religion for sure, or any kind of like strong parent. How does that make you feel? How does being rigid and stubborn keep you safe? You seem to feel very rigid in your life, especially towards personal progress, goals, and projects. Why? What is the benefit of being rigid? Concussion can also occur when a person is playing games or sports. If this is the case, how did you feel before? Is there anything in your life that you've lost control of, such as your emotions, becoming too overwhelmed, or feeling intense, or circumstances in your life? think about yourself before the accident. Was there anything going on? Like, you don't have to say on here, but like, just think about what were you experiencing? Kind of what energy were you in? That's usually, why the accident had happened. So how does it keep you safe to analyze everything in your life instead of feeling it? What painful emotions are you avoiding? You might fear being weak or vulnerable when you feel your emotions, causing you to fear being attacked. You have a fear of change. And if this is the case, then explore further. You are very rigid in regarding to changes in your life. Why? Do you fear losing control? If yes, what are you afraid of losing control of? Explore real fears and traumas, not superficial fears. This doesn't just have to be for ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. I feel like even in the Catholics or other religions where it was very strict, or even if you were raised Greek or Italian or a culture where you had to have face, right? You had there was a certain way that your family wanted to be portrayed to other families or in your community, but you didn't feel that was really your life or your expression of who you wanted to be. That's another piece of it as well, where you are controlled. And I mean, everyone's felt controlled in society, but what happens, especially for anyone who's been an ex-Jehovah's Witness or a stricter religion, is that it's a cult. So it's like a mind control. It's saying you have to live in this box. And if you don't, you're out, or we're going to tell on you, or, we're going to tell the elders. And so you live in this fear constantly. And now when you want to move forward and you want to make a decision in your life, or you're changing careers, now you don't trust yourself because you were given an identity growing up. You weren't allowed to make that decision and to fall on your face. Like, that's how we learn, right? You had to live by this strict, whether it was a culture or a religion, it's all the same, honestly, or you were abused, it's all the same as well. All right, let's look up accidents. And I'm sure you came here today to teach me something about where I'm controlling either myself or others in life. Another thing that has been coming up more and more with the Jehovah's Witnesses, and there's a guy who created a beautiful group for us, the Empowered Group, Rodney, and he says, there's almost 8,000 people in there, which blows me away. And he says, the religion didn't teach us to be accountable. So it could be that you're struggling, or in your finances, or in your life, or whatever it is, and that we're not accountable for ourselves. We're in this victim mode of blaming other things or other people. And that is what I've been observing too lately. Okay, so accidents and emotions. Trauma related to an accident or car accident is in your past is still being expressed and triggered in your day-to-day life. You feel out of control while the freeze instinct is activated during an accident. Oh my gosh, this is me. The freeze instinct locks in the trauma, including the emotions, physical pain, and shock felt at the time of the accident. Emotions, shock, and trauma are locked into the body, mind at the same time. In the future, when you find yourself in a similar emotional or physical situation, you feel the same emotion and trigger the unresolved secondary trauma that stemmed from the initial accident. At this point, you may be experiencing old trauma that was triggered, secondary trauma related to the accident, and new trauma. What complicates matters is that you need to address the origin of this trauma, not just the symptoms. Prior to the accident, you saw it coming or not, you already experienced feelings of vulnerability. This is a result of an issue that took place before the accident occurred. Oh my gosh. Wait till I tell you about my accident. You may have had an argument with a friend right before the accident. Alternatively, you were feeling angry towards someone or remembering a time that was negative. Which area of the body was injured during the accident? Mine was the back. How about you? Your head. Anything else?
The airbag broke my wrist.
Okay. Are there any areas in your life that feel vulnerable right now? What were you thinking about prior to the accident? This does not necessarily have to be a car accident. It could be any type of accident. It could indicate that you are not living up to your highest potential. For some reason, you are holding yourself back. You may have a fear of success, a fear of failure, and it is important that you reassess the direction your life is heading in. I think actually it goes even deeper. The root of that is a fear of criticism. Because if we made a false move growing up, then we were either in trouble or ostracized from the community, right? Where do you want to go, and what do you want to achieve? Be more conscious in your decision making. Take the time to really understand the implications of the decisions you make. Ask yourself if what you have in life is what you really want. Can you do better? If so, what is stopping you from making the necessary changes? You might be going through a stressful time, which is causing you to dissociate from your emotions and your environment. You're not fully present in life. This happens when we are in a very controlling situation as a child. We dissociate because the pain is too great. In the religion, we dissociated because we're being asked to do all these things that inside just maybe doesn't feel good. Or when, they used to announce at the front of like, so-and-so is disfellowshipped, we're not allowed to speak to them anymore. Everything in my little child body was like, that's not God's love. Like, and I'm like, the heck? How are you guys adults and you're doing that to people, right? Like, and then I stopped trusting authority, why I speed. And then I stopped trusting myself. Like, it's just this thing, right? That continues on. It's all connected. It's so funny to me now. The body is tired of being in a constant state of conflict. You often feel like you are caught between two people or between someone important and their goals. The body is stuck between a fight and flee instinct, which causes a great deal of conflict in personal relations and the way you communicate your needs. Explore. Oh, this is before you were born. We'll leave that. Oh, maybe this is for you. Sperm bumping its head against the egg while penetrating the egg. Success and victory can only be achieved through bumping, bruising, racing, competitiveness, and feeling battered. It pushes you into the light, that I believe. Pressure or trauma against the head and body during birth reinforces trauma of sperm bumping into the egg. Maybe is your mom still alive?
No, she passed when I was 3.
So you can just like go into like a calm time and just ask, what happened? Like kind of re-experience your birth and see if just anything comes into your intuition, or you may not, but that's something that you could do. Do you know if you were a C-section or you were out?
I don't believe I
Natural.
was. Yeah,
Not sure?
I think it was natural. I'm pretty sure.
Natural. Okay.
My dad never said anything about her having a C-section, so.
Okay. C-sections are really important. Like here's what it says for a cesarean. It's being pulled out and not feeling supported, powerless, and feeling helpless. Very interesting. So explore feelings of out of control, vulnerable, and frozen. Complete unresolved trauma that took place during and after the accident. Do you suffer from PTSD after the accident? If yes, then it just continues on to the next section. I definitely feel that any of us who were in the Jehovah's Witnesses and maybe other strong religion or controlling kind of environments, you have childhood PTSD, CPTSD. And so it's not living in that. It's just saying, okay, I look at the past as what's helping me of what I'm attracting now so that I can heal and clear that pattern, because it's just a pattern. So I'll share just quickly about my accident, and then I'll give you space to share. So I remember we were going. I was taking my little niece to Kung Fu. It was like a rush. I was trying to, do work at the same time and just feeling like I don't have time. And she was hungry. And we were passing a gas station. She's like, can you get me something to eat? And kind of like whining. And I'm just like frustrated. And I'm like, gosh, it's so hard raising a child and trying to run a business, like, and all the things. And I was so low for sure. I was just like up to here in like max stress. So I'm driving us home so we can get home for dinner. And I'm like, no, it's just junk food in the garage or the gas station. We'll be home in 5 minutes and we'll get you something to eat there. So I'm waiting to turn left. She can see the gas station still. And a guy ran a red light. So a lady's coming through. He runs a red, hits her, T-bones her, and both of them are now coming towards me. And I am holding the steering wheel. I'm frozen.
Yeah.
The whole page, and I'm waiting for these cars to hit me. But it's this fear that I have because I have a child in the car now. I've been in accidents where it was just me, and now I have a little person I'm responsible for. And so like the fear I had of like turning around to see if she was okay, like I can't even describe. And And so there's just like a lot of that recurring stuff. So thank you for being here today and for what you went through, because this is really helpful for me to clear some of that stuff that I was holding on to. But it's a pattern. I feel even, with the Jehovah's Witnesses, is that I'm third born in, but my mom was fellowship, so she wasn't active, but we got put back in at age 9. My grandma said, if you don't put the girls back in, I have a sister, then they're going to be raised evil. So imagine, I've had a life, a normal life. I've had Christmas and birthday and, all of those celebrations and being celebrated. And now I get put into the religion. Now I'm in the hallway. Now I'm weird at school. Now I don't get to participate and I'm frozen. I've been put into this religion I had no say over. And I'm just in this frozen state of like, what the hell? And how am I here? So it just like, see how it's a pattern. And I didn't catch that until this conversation. So thank you. So that if I'm feeling stuck in my life, I can say, okay, how do I make the changes and not have fear of moving forward?
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to share a little bit, either whatever is resonating for you or about your accident?
So my accident, I was heading into work for the first time in several months. And while I was working from home, I love my job. I like what I do. I get paid well for what I do. I have pension and benefits.
Awesome.
And while I was off working from home, I experienced another way of living, basically. And I was thinking about making it a change because, I always felt like I thought that I liked the structure of working. And then being at home and not having that structure before was always really hard for me. This time when I was off work, I had structure, but not the same kind of structure. So I'd get up in the morning, I'd walk my dogs to Victoria Park, I'd sit on a park bench, I'd log in on my phone, sit there for 15, 20 minutes, do emails, walk back home. I had access to outside and just not the rigid structure. And I always believe that some people come into your life for a reason. And that's this past spring, I had met somebody that I went up north with. We were doing like ATVing, met a whole bunch of people, saw a different, more relaxed kind of lifestyle. And I'm like, you know what? I could buy a piece of property up here, buy the trails, do Airbnb and all kinds of stuff. So and I still am considering it, but I was really looking at changing what I do. And so my first day going back into the office, I'm in a car accident that's preventing me from going there.
On your first day back. Wow. Wow.
So I was like 2 blocks away from where I work. I had stopped at a red light turned green. I went through, so it was a major intersection, Margaret and Victoria. So there was a woman on the far right, and she just came through when I was almost through the intersection and hit the front of my car. It spun me around into the other lane. At the time, I didn't know that I had a concussion. It was more my wrist that they were looking at. But the next day and that week, I was really, really physically sick with the concussion and stuff. And so I was supposed to start back to work. Like I'm normally laid off for a certain period of time. I was supposed to start back to work on August the 18th, but I'm not ready to go back to work. My medical's been approved until September 17th, cool. But I need to submit more paperwork, like an updated medical, and I can't see that I'll be ready to go back. Cognitively, it's tough for me, and physically, yeah. So yeah, sometimes the universe, I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, and they kind of believe, but not really, right? And I said, sometimes the universe really smacks me upside the head when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing or whatever. When I broke an ankle a few years ago, I was really unhappy with the job that I had at that time and was thinking about leaving, but scared because, again, I'd been there for close to 20 years. it was comfortable, it was known. Same thing with my job that I have now. So when I broke my ankle, I ended up not going back. I didn't really have anything to go to after I was ready to go back to work, but I just said I'm not returning because I gave me time to think about it. And then this happened with my having an accident when I'm contemplating something else, right? But it's giving up the known, the safe, the, like the given, right?
Yeah.
To go to something that's not safe, that's not guaranteed, that's not a given.
Yeah.
But I can visualize myself, when we were up north, I would get up in the morning and make a cup of tea and go down to the water and we would sit there for like an hour or 2 or 3 and just
Beautiful.
take it in and talk and stuff, right? So and then going to the park every day, sitting by the water, and it's just, I could really get used to this, but it's scary.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm kind of giggling because the ankle is also a sign of fear of moving forward. So your hips, any issues in your hips and your ankles is all a fear of moving forward. So I'll just quickly read this. People use, so that either your feet or the ankles, it's part of their body to physically and emotionally move forward. If there are issues with the feet, then it's a clear indication that the person often fears consequences related to change. This is related to moving forward, reaching success, commitment, or a fear of losing control.
Yeah.
You may have had a shortage of guidance and support in the past when going through different stages. You fear losing control of your destiny and the outcome of any new changes you manifest. You've had negative experiences in the past when you tried to change the direction of your journey. You may have been punished or abused by controlling, influential people when you made changes. Your ability to make decisions may have been suppressed as influential people were too busy dictating you. This may have caused you to doubt your ability to be successful and make changes easily. You have a fear of standing your ground. Your values and integrity have been greatly challenged by influential people that took the joy right out of your life. Sorry. It's a religion. Now you want to move forward. However, it is hard for you to accept and live the good life that you deserve. Yeah, there it is right there. Did you say you sprained an ankle?
I broke it.
Broke it. Okay. This one is just for sprained, is that you're moving too fast in a direction that you consciously feel is right for you. However, you're deep down in your heart, it's not the right move. I don't know if that had to do with broken, but it's all about moving forward for sure. My computer turned off. So, wow. We were definitely meant to have a conversation, like not even just you being an ex Joho, I call them Jehovah's Witness, and local to me, because I wanted to meet some people around. I'm like, there's got to be more than just me here. There's a get together tomorrow, so we'll talk about that off camera, but I'll share that with you for local people. And just building community. This is really cool. I think that there are some really exciting things for you in your future. Whatever it is you decide to do, there's a number of people who are looking at moving on to like a community or a communal space. So I'll keep you in the loop with that, because maybe you're meant to be a part of that too. People who have some property and maybe, some stuff gets built on it. I don't know, but we're just going to come together. I keep envisioning that is that we come together as a community, and each of us has different gifts, and we all help the community. And it's just this easier way of living, and there's nature around us, and all of that good stuff. So
that's what I'm looking for, is this easier an easier way of living. Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. So I would even say, just this is what I teach as far like in the business part, is like the mind map of where are you moving forward. So there's 2 ways to do it. Is you could draw a line down a paper and just write all of the things that you love, or, what you want to move forward, and then what's holding you back. What are the things that would have to change? Maybe it's selling your place, or, giving notice, what all of the things. So it's like, what do you want to call in? And then what are the things that you'd have to get done, or would have to be fixed, or the universe would have to move so that that could come into your reality. That's one way to do it. And then a second, which I do recommend, because that's actually how you're moving forward. Okay. It's giving you the steps of like, I would like these things. And then this is my list of the things that I need to do to get there. And then the other one is the mind map, where you just draw like a sun. I'm going to draw one because I've been mentioning it this week. You draw the sun, where your name's in the middle. If you have an idea of a business name, then you could draw that, I feel like the word ankle should be in your name for some reason. The healed ankle, or like I don't know, whatever, something funny. But and then just draw the lines out from the center circle, just like you would, like kid would draw a sun. And then all of those spokes, or all of the lines, are what you want to do. What are the things that bring you joy, that you would love to help people with? So it could be an experience with the Airbnb, it could be the Reiki, it could be, any of the other gifts and tools that you have, helping people with the concussion, and in accidents, right? So it's a fear of moving forward is what that accident came. So they had some stress and they're in this fear and this freeze. You've got some experience, from your life and what you've done and dealt with. In that it just might be that you are a way shower for them in a way. I don't know. We got to talk more and kind of get a feel for what it is that you're calling in. But that is exciting, what is coming forth for you.
Yeah. And with the Reiki too, like I have a vision of doing it outside. Like I was thinking in my backyard, having a space set up and stuff. But like I really am called to like do things outdoors. Like, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So in the perfect visualization, or the perfect day visualization I did as a meditation, it's in our YouTube page. So Healing Soul School is like you don't even need, you can go and listen to my meditation, and if you want, like just kind of get an idea of how to do the visualization, but like ground in first, and then just play some nice music, 432 megahertz or higher, whatever, and then just close your eyes and imagine you're in that property. Imagine you've got someone on that Reiki table in your backyard, and you're looking at the sun, you're beaming, the feeling is there, and you're just so happy, and you're like, yes, I did it.
Yeah, that's good.
Because when you're in that energy, now the universe sees what you're in, but you're also in this place of contentment. The worry's not there. Your job and the money and where you're living, like all that stuff is worked out. And so you're just in this beautiful space of it's done, right? Like the contented woman sigh, I say, like to come back into our calming our nervous system, as you just lean back and like it's done, and you're like, yes, this is so cool, like it's right here in front of me.
Okay, I will do that.
Awesome.